My child, do not ignore this message. I know you almost did. I know there was a moment, just before you pressed play, where part of you considered scrolling past, where something said this can wait, or I have seen things like this before, or I am not really in the mood right now. I know that moment existed, and I am glad, genuinely glad, that you did not listen to it. Because what I have to say to you today is not something that can wait. And you have not heard this before. Not like this, not for you, not today. So stay, please, just for a little while. Let me speak. I want to talk to you about ignoring, because I think it is something you have become very good at, not just with this message, but with many things. With the quiet nudges you have felt at various points in your life that you brushed aside, because the timing was inconvenient. With the sense that something needed to change that you acknowledged briefly, and then buried under the business of everyday life. With the voice, my voice, that has been speaking to you in 100 different ways and that you have grown skilled at not quite hearing. I am not saying this to condemn you. I am saying it because I need you to understand something important. Ignoring things does not make them go away. It just delays the conversation. And the conversation I have been trying to have with you has been delayed long enough. I want to have it now, today, in this moment. I want to tell you what I have been trying to say to you. In all those moments you almost heard it and then did not. All those times you felt something stirring and chose not to follow it. All those quiet moments where something reached toward you and you turned away. Not out of malice, but out of habit, out of distraction, out of a kind of low-level numbness that comes from carrying too much for too long. Here is what I have been trying to say. I see you, I know you, I love you, and I have not given up on you, not even close. My child, I want to talk to you about the cost of ignoring, not to make you feel guilty. Guilt is not my goal here. But because I think you deserve to understand what happens when the nudges and the pulls and the quiet invitations go consistently unacknowledged. When you ignore something long enough, it becomes harder to hear. Not because the thing stops speaking, I never stop speaking, but because the habit of not listening becomes so established that you stop even noticing the signal. It fades into background noise, and what was once a clear, recognizable pull becomes something you can barely detect, if you detect it at all. That is what years of ignoring does. It does not silence me. Nothing silences me. But it can dull your ability to hear me. And my child, I do not want that for you. I want you to be someone who hears me clearly, who recognizes my voice when I speak, who notices the nudges and follows them, because you have learned through experience that where I lead is always somewhere worth going. Today is a chance to reset that, to recalibrate, to say, I am listening now, really listening. Whatever you have been trying to tell me, I am ready to hear it. I want to speak to the specific things you have been ignoring, because it is rarely just one thing. When people develop the habit of not listening, it tends to be across multiple areas at once. The relationship that needs a conversation you have been putting off. The change you know you need to make, but have been finding reasons to delay. The dream you have been talking yourself out of because it seems too big, too risky, too far from where you currently are. The healing you know you need, but have been avoiding, because healing requires feeling things you would rather not feel. I am not going to name them out loud because you already know what they are. They surfaced in your mind as I was speaking just now. The things you have been walking past without fully stopping to deal with. The things you have been meaning to address, meaning to change, meaning to face, but not yet, not quite, not today. Today is the day, my child. I want to be clear about something. I am not bringing this to you with impatience. I am not frustrated with you for having ignored things for so long. I understand, better than anyone, how the human tendency to avoid difficult things develops. I understand the self-protection behind it. The weariness that makes not dealing with something feel like the only viable option. I understand the complexity of lives that are already full, already demanding, already requiring so much that adding one more hard thing to face seems impossible. I understand all of it, and I am not here to add to your burden. I am here to help you put some of it down. Because here is what I have noticed. The things you have been ignoring are not actually getting lighter by being ignored. They're getting heavier. The unaddressed relationship is straining more. The unmade change is becoming more costly. The avoided feeling is taking up more space in more subtle and pervasive ways than it would if you just let yourself feel it and move through it. Ignoring things does not make them smaller. It makes them grow. And my child, you do not have to keep carrying things at the size they have grown to. You can face them with my help. You can address them with my strength. You can walk through them with me beside you every step of the way. That is what I am offering you today. Not just a message, an invitation to stop ignoring the things that matter and to start walking through them with the one who has been waiting to walk through them with you. I want to talk to you about what stops people from responding to invitations like this one. Because I know there are barriers. I know it is not always as simple as just deciding to stop ignoring and start engaging. Sometimes the barrier is shame. The feeling that too much time has passed, too many invitations have been ignored, too many chances have been missed, and that returning now, after all of that, would require admitting a failure that feels unbearable. If that is where you are, I want to address it directly. There is no amount of time that makes you unwelcome. There is no number of ignored invitations that changes my posture toward you. You are as welcome today, after however long it has been, as you would have been the very first time I reached out to you. The door is not just open, it is open wide, and I am standing in it, and I am glad you are here. Sometimes the barrier is doubt, the uncertainty about whether any of this is real, whether I exist, whether I care, whether anything that happens in a quiet moment with a message like this one actually connects to anything real or meaningful or lasting. If that is where you are, I want to say, your doubt is welcome here too. You do not have to have it all figured out. You do not have to be certain before you can respond. You just have to be honest. Honest about the doubt. Honest about the longing underneath the doubt. Honest about the part of you that is here. Because something, however faint, is still reaching towards something it has not been able to fully let go of. That reaching is real, my child, and it is reaching toward me. Even in the doubt, even in the uncertainty. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still somewhere inside, hoping that this is real and that I am real, and that there is something more than the surface of things. That is not nothing. That is faith, in its most honest, most unpolished form, and I honor it. Sometimes the barrier is simply habit. The habit of ignoring has become so automatic that even when part of you wants to respond, you do not quite know how. You have lived for so long in the pattern of turning away that turning toward feels foreign, awkward, uncertain. You do not know what it looks like to actually engage with what I am saying to you, to let it land and do something in you rather than washing over you and being gone by tomorrow. If that is where you are, I want to show you. Responding to me does not require a particular formula or a specific set of words or a dramatic experience. It can be as simple as this, a decision, a quiet, internal, honest decision to stop turning away, to say with whatever words feel true for you in this moment, I am here, I am listening, I want to stop ignoring and start engaging. Help me know what that looks like. That decision, made honestly, is enough. It is more than enough. It is the beginning of everything, my child. I want to close by telling you what I see when I look at you in this moment. I see someone who almost kept scrolling and did not. I see someone who, despite the habit of ignoring, found their way here and stayed long enough to hear something that needed to be heard. I see someone who is more ready than they think they are. Ready to stop running, ready to stop avoiding, ready to actually let me in and let the things I have been working on in their life begin to become visible. I see someone who is right now in this exact moment at the beginning of something. Do not ignore this moment, my child. Do not let this be another nudge that gets acknowledged briefly and then buried. Let this one be different. Let this be the one that marks a turn, however small, however uncertain, however imperfect. A turn toward me, toward honesty, toward the life I have been preparing for you. I am here. I have always been here, and I am not going anywhere. Do not ignore this message, and do not ignore me. I love you more than you know, always, without end. My child, I am still speaking. I told you not to ignore this message, and you did not. You stayed, you listened, and something in you shifted, even if only slightly. Even if you cannot fully name what changed, I felt it. That small opening, that small turning toward it. I felt it. And I want to keep speaking into it because openings like this one are precious. And I do not want to waste a single moment of it. I want to talk to you about what comes next. Because I know that is the question sitting underneath everything right now. Okay, I am listening. I am here. I did not ignore this. Now what? What does this actually mean for my life tomorrow, and the day after, and the week after that? How does a moment like this translate into something real and lasting, rather than something that feels meaningful right now and fades by morning? That is the right question, my child, and I want to answer it honestly. What comes next is a choice, not a dramatic, life-altering, everything changes at once choice, though sometimes it can feel that way. More often, what comes next is a series of small choices, daily choices, moment-by-moment choices. The choice to come back to me tomorrow, even when the busyness of life is pulling you in 100 other directions. The choice to bring the things you have been carrying to me instead of just carrying them alone. The choice to listen for my voice in the ordinary moments of your day, not just in quiet moments with messages like this one, but in the middle of the noise, the middle of the mundane, the middle of the things that fill your hours and demand your attention. Those small choices, made consistently, are what transform a moment like this one into something that actually changes your life. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily, over time, in ways that become undeniable. I want to talk to you about the morning, because I know what mornings are like for you. I know that often, the things that feel clear and significant in the evening, the decisions made, the shifts that happen, the moments of connection, can feel distant by the time you wake up. The day rushes in with its demands and its noise and its urgency, and what felt solid the night before can seem fragile in the morning light. I want to be with you in the morning, my child, not just in the quiet moments, in the first moments of your day, before the phone, before the obligations, before the world gets loud. I want you to give me those first moments, not a long time, even just a few minutes, just enough to remember, to say quietly, in whatever words feel honest, I am still here. I did not forget. I am choosing to keep choosing this. That practice, the practice of returning to me at the start of each day, is one of the most powerful things you can do. Not because I need you to check in with me to know you are there, but because you need it. You need the daily reminder, the daily reorientation, the daily moment of saying this is what matters, this is who I belong to, this is the foundation underneath everything else. I want to speak to the people in your life now, because I know this moment, whatever is shifting in you, does not happen in isolation. It happens in the context of relationships, of community, of the people who are part of your daily life and who will be affected by any change in you, whether they realize it or not. Some of those people are going to notice something different about you. Not necessarily immediately, but over time as the small choices accumulate, as the turning away becomes turning toward, as the ignoring becomes listening. Something will be different about the way you carry yourself, the way you respond to things, the way you treat people, the way you handle difficulty. Some of them will ask about it, and that will be your opportunity to share, in whatever way feels right for you, what has been happening. Not to preach, not to perform, but simply to be honest. Something shifted, something changed. I found my way back to something I had been ignoring. That kind of honest testimony, imperfect, personal, specific, is one of the most powerful things a person can share with another person. And, my child, your story is going to matter to someone, maybe to many someones. The path that you have walked, including the parts where you were ignoring things you should not have been ignoring, and the moment where you finally stopped. That story has value. It will resonate with people who are where you were. It will give them permission to stop ignoring too. I want to talk about the hard days that are coming, because I want to be honest with you. Not every day is going to feel like this one. There will be days when the connection feels distant, when the clarity of this moment feels like a memory, when old habits pull at you and the temptation to go back to ignoring feels strong. Those days are not evidence that this moment was not real. They are just hard days, and they are part of every journey. On those days, I want you to remember this. Not the feeling of this moment, because feelings come and go, but the decision you made today to stop ignoring. That decision was real. It happened. It does not unhappen because a hard day comes. It stays in place, waiting for you to return to it, waiting for you to say, I made a decision. I am going to honor it. Even today, even when it is hard, even when I do not feel like it. That honoring, that returning to the decision even when you do not feel like it, is what faithfulness actually looks like. Not constant, uninterrupted clarity and connection, but returning, always returning. I want to close today with something I want you to actually do. Not just hear, not just feel. Do. After this message ends, before you pick up your phone and go back to whatever is waiting for you, I want you to take 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. And I want you to say something honest. Out loud if you can. In your heart if you cannot. Something like, I hear you. I am done ignoring. I do not know exactly what this looks like yet, but I am willing to find out. Stay close to me. I need you. That is all. 30 seconds. Honest words. And then, watch. Pay attention to what happens in the days that follow. Pay attention to the small things, the moments of unexpected clarity, the right word from an unexpected source, the sense of not being alone that comes even in moments when you are physically by yourself. I will be there. I have always been there, but now you will be looking for me. And when you look for me, my child, you will find me. Stop ignoring, my child. You did it today. Keep doing it tomorrow. I love you. I have always loved you, and I am so glad you stayed, always, without end.